This again. All right, Caleb. What happened last time on the Lost City?
We became gods.
That's true.
We entered the ziggurat of mystery and found rooms and contraptions that someone or persons used to pretend to be gods. A snake baby, a lady, and a man who is not popular. And people with bee masks, hopefully, came and decided that our halfling friend was the chosen one because of our divine influence. And they took us to their Amazonian friends to engage in trials of mystery.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. My next question is, who took the statuette of Madarua?
Pretty sure that was Rabbi Ben.
It was Ben. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, in that case, that is where we are at.
So based on that, do we get to level up already, or do we need to wait?
If you have the XP, you can level up. Anytime you have the XP for it.
Okay.
But
Wasn't
I
quite
don't
sure,
think you
like,
guys...
based...
He was talking like we were gonna have the XP for it, and then he actually posted the XP, and it was like not that much.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, so it was a little unclear. It was like 200 and something for the XP, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I forgot
and then, so
that you
and
divide
he
the
has to-
XP by the party members.
Okay,
I forgot that
I
part.
thought that was the case. I was curious on that. I was like, wanted to make sure I understood that right.
Yeah, and the hirelings, which there aren't any in this case, but XP
Yeah.
is always... Treasure for XP is always divided among... I'm not doing that for Esoterra. I'm doing like a flat thing, and then it's just different for Shay, for Shay versus Chimera. So, okay, so you have followed the bee people deep into the heart of this step pyramid. And you know that you travel down some stairs, and then you follow corridors left and right, and then you get into this big, well, actually a long corridor with these symbols on the walls, and they touched one of the symbols, and then you felt like this, like rotating, and then and then a door opened, and you're in this like chamber, and you've stolen a statuette, and they brought you through an entrance with these large... I'll show this again. These... This right here. And you go through there, following the bee people. There's this huge vault, and then finally they open this door, and there's this let's see here. There is a about 20 foot by 20 foot ornate room. It's been the carvings on the walls have been changed. There's this big table, and there's these women in armor and with headdresses similar to those statues, except most of them have, well, all of them, but especially the ones around the edges of the room have like really translucent skin, and you can almost see like their lymphatic fluid and blood just pulsing, like you can almost see through their skin because they're so translucent and slimy, and it looks like their hair is turned white and stuff. And you notice that they're small, and they're also really jittery, and they're strange acting, and some of them sometimes will mutter to themselves. But then there's this table of women and they are slightly bigger. And at the head of the table is this larger woman, and her skin looks a little more normal. And she stands up, and she says, "You do not look like gnomes to me." And she still has really pale skin, but she's much taller. She's probably a solid 6 foot tall.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
And she says, actually, no one has come to the city of the Synodikias in eons. There have been no outsiders here. Why have you come here? And where have you come from? What do you want? And
Good question.
Bashaw. Oh, go ahead.
I was just looking around, right by like looking around. Nobody seems to have an answer. It's like that's a very good question. Anybody? We are not gnomes. Definitely not gnomes, which is a good thing, right?
Oh wait, wasn't Ratby trailing a room behind?
I'm assuming that everyone has joined at this point. However,
Okay.
He kind of was. Yeah, he was definitely he was the last to come into the room. Actually, that's a very good question. We
Well,
kind
so
of picked up.
you were trailing the party one room behind, and then I was trailing behind you one room behind. So if anything happened to the party and you couldn't escape, I'd hopefully get out.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to
Right,
make
yeah,
sure
that was the-
status set with between. Like I know I was like the last, like sneaking up close, like just at the periphery. So I don't know if they saw me or not. That's right. I was trying to stay hidden and not
okay,
clear
so
if
you're
they
trying to
spotted
be
me or
in
not. So I
like
was,
the. If you follow them into their room, you'll it's clear that you'll be seen.
right. I knew I was right on that cusp, and so can't quite remember how he ended it. If I was like right in the doorway, not quite being seen, or if I had just like kind of like, hey, you guys.
Well, something happens as everyone enters this room. At least Shay and Shay and Bashaw. When you all enter the room, several of these women get up. Some of them leave the room by other doors, and then you see them go to the entrance, and 2 of them approach the entrance, and a third goes to close the door. So if you don't enter the room now, you will be behind a closed door.
I don't think I'd want to separate everybody. That was kind of my idea. So if I see women closing the door, I'm like, hey, hold on, I'm with them. Kind of
And I will
skirting in
also
at last
follow him
second.
in.
All right. Yeah, they close that door, and then actually you see them use an old, just a lock in the door itself, like in the center of the door, and they lock the door and they walk back to the taller woman, and they hand her the key. She takes the key, and she has pale skin, like albino-like features, but she's very tall. And despite looking incredibly muscular and powerful, you can tell that she's rather old, past middle age. She's an elderly woman. But she says, what gods do you worship?
Find my notes.
We are
That's
definitely.
Rather, there's no question to ask. I mean, I don't even know your names. You know, maybe there's a. Buy me a drink first here.
Yeah, goddess Madura.
Oh, you say that you
Nope.
worship Madura?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Gorm, as I remember. Right?
Yep.
Got
Yep. Hate Gorn.
Written down, I've got Madura. Beside it is a check mark.
Yeah.
And then I have Gorn with a big X. And then Snaky Boy with a question mark.
Mhm.
You're like, definitely not
That's
Gorm.
what
Definitely not Gorm.
Yeah,
Like,
not that
Gorm
one.
sucks.
Gorn hates us, actually.
several-
We don't get along.
Several of the women around the table are like, like they're jittery. Yeah, and they're acting really strange. Like, especially the women on the edges of the room. But they like actually kind of mutter in a language that you don't understand when you mention the word Gorm and you show signs of disgust, and then they do too. They're like, oh, like, yeah.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, he sucks.
I would go that far.
Does the biggest lady's body language, when we mention the names, give off at all that she probably knows they're not real?
Oh no. You get the impression that they're very much like this. These are their gods.
Well, because I know we had the automatic voice changers in that first level there.
Yeah, if they know that, they don't give any indication of that. And she looks at Chimera, and she like kind of appraises you, and she says, "The days of the the days of the Senodikians wane. We could use talent. We could use people that are unique." And she looks at Chimera and she says that to you.
Given that every person in this room is like a well-built woman, like warrior, right? They're all female.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to just very slowly behind I can't remember character names for the life of me. Steve, what's your character again?
Basha.
Basha. I'm just gonna like very carefully slide up behind Basha and just very slowly, and just, out of character. Let me just say this is an act, you guys. Don't freak out. But I'm just gonna very slowly put my knife like in front of his neck from behind, and then like raise my eyebrow at her.
Oh, like you're gonna kill Basha? Like you know?
Yes, like I think that's what she wants, and like I'm actually gonna do it.
She steps forward and she like looks at you and she says, "This is strength, but we do not waste what Madarua has given us unwisely. We have use of them." And then like the bee people have left.
Thank God.
Yeah. And eventually, as you're talking, the door opens again. A woman comes through. She's much shorter. She's probably 4.5 feet tall, and she's like got like a hunch to one side. And she comes in and limps, and she's like, "Madam, they took it. They took Madarua." And then like you hear like a bunch of like mumbling and grumbling around the room. They all look at each other. And she says, "The little one." And you look around, you realize that Bungo's not here. And she says, "The little one. It was false. I knew that he was a gnome."
Gorm? Agents of Gorm here?
Yeah, and then like all the other women, they're like jittering and shaking. They like slam the table and like, and they fussing. Yeah, they can tell what you're talking about. And then the woman that enters is like, she has this like kind of zealous look on her face, like a religious zeal. Like, yes, obviously it was our hated heretic enemies, and the woman is like, "Did you know this small creature, the gnome, the thief that stole the very presence of our goddess?"
We did not know he was an agent of Gorm.
We ran upon some Norms
will
when
hunt
we
this
entered
man.
who left, right? It must have been one of them.
What'd you say, Lane?
Sir, we ran behind a bunch of gnomes who left when we entered. Do you think he was with them?
There's a bit of a gnome infestation here that you've got.
Yes, it's clear that these gnomes, they do not serve the goddess. You're clearly outsiders. And then she looks back at Chimera and she's like, if you and your slaves serve the true goddess, Madarua, then you can join with us. And you can feast with the chosen ones. And we can retake the legacy and the glory of Kenadikia. And we can overthrow Zargon and unite the gods once more. And then, like, the other women, like, slam their fists down on the table. Some of them, like, jerkily slam their faces down on the table because they're not very well coordinated. And you hear a bunch of muttering and stuff.
Wow, that's absolutely terrifying. So during all this, I have, of course, put my knife away and hopefully not scarred Bashaw for life. And I'm just gonna look, like, side eye him, so he, like, to see if he's taken my terrible lead since I'm suddenly important, and just, like, nod and be like, of course.
Oh yeah, he takes the roll and kind of looks down immediately. He doesn't meet your eyes, as he's done this before.
Yeah, and then she waits basically for your response. Chimera.
That was my response. I said, of course. And
Oh, you said of course. I'm sorry.
I'm actually glad you didn't hear it the first time, because I'm going to follow it up with, it would be a great honor.
You hear like a mumbling, muttering, chanting from these like translucent albino women, and they come up and they kind of like come near you and they start to guide you toward an altar. And the tall woman goes up to the altar, and then she lifts her hands and she mutters something, and then she asks for the knife that you held up to Bashaw's throat.
I offer it to her.
And then she takes it, and she turns to the altar again, she holds the knife up, and she mutters a bunch of stuff, and she turns back to you, and faces you, and she says, centuries ago, the Synadakia was the capital of a great empire, rich and fertile. In the days of King Alexander, we built this great pyramid. And those would come to be the last days of the Synadakia people. We built the pyramid, but as we dug far beneath the sand, something was unleashed. Zargon. And then like all the other translucent people are like, they cover their faces and they go, Zargon, Zargon, Zargon. And and then she says, at first, our people fed our criminals. It was King Alexander's idea to feed the worst of our society to Zargon as a punishment and to placate the demon. But in time, our people began to be changed by this place. And the beast wanted more people. And then the priests began to feel the streets and alleyways. If we killed one of them, 3 of them would appear the next night. The priests of Zargon. And in time, the people of Synadakia changed. And the sacrifices to the 3 true gods, Gorm, Usamagaras, and Madarua, the Senadakians set it aside. And the city rebelled, and it was consumed in fire and flames and rebellion. The city was destroyed. We became decadent. They stopped building irrigation ditches, they stopped farming, and our armies fell, and barbarians came from other lands, and they destroyed our empire, and the Senadakians that were left came here to this wretched pyramid, and it has been our home for more than 500 years now. The most Senadakians, and she looks at like the younger ones that are translucent, and she says, they change more each year, wearing masks of various beasts, and changing themselves, and drinking strange potions. They live more in a fever dream, a different reality than our own reality. I am one of the last. But it has always been the place of the warrior maidens to bring us back to the truth. And so, the heretics of Gorm and Usamagaras, we will force them back into the truth of the true three gods, and we will face Zargon, and we will take back the lost city of the Senadakians. And that, daughter, she looks down to Chimera, is what you have agreed to do today with this knife. She hands you the knife, and she takes a knife of her own, and she pricks her hand until it bleeds, and she pours the blood into a bowl beneath the altar. And then she motions for you to do the same.
Well, since I don't want to suddenly piss off an entire room full of wound up warrior women, I am going to do that.
You do that, and nothing seems to happen. But she takes the knife and she grabs your wrist, and there's this chanting. I forgot to mention, these women, you can see their skin and stuff, how it's translucent and kind of gnarled, and they're messed up and degenerated, basically. And they all wear a bronze mask, and they wear green robes, either around or underneath the armor that they wear. And except the larger woman. And she takes your hand and she cuts it, and she carves, and it's really painful, as she carves a sickle-like shape with the knife onto your wrist, producing a permanent scar where you have the sign of Madarua now on your wrist forever. And then there's more chanting, and if this is too far, let me know. But this is this is just a means to an end. They come up to Shay and Basha, and these women start to take off your armor and stuff, and then put on green robes, robes on you, and then they put a green robe around Chimera, and they hand Chimera a bronze mask.
I mean, I'm down with pretty much all of that.
You put the mask on?
I do. May as well look the part.
They take the hands of the men, the man slaves, and they put bracelets on each of you that have that symbol. They don't cut your wrist. You're not worthy of that honor. And now she rises, and she says something in this strange language, and presents Chimera to all these weird people, and they shudder and try to clap, but they can't clap very well, and it's just a really awkward clapping going on with about 15 women in this room as they try to cheer Chimera on, the new daughter of the daughter warrior maiden of Madarua. And they invite you to eat and relax, and There's like a feast going on.
Well, I look at my slave party. And say, looks like it's time to enjoy the feast.
All right. The food.
I literally noted this entire thing down as accidentally made blood oath with Synodiceans.
As one does.
Yeah.
Accidental crusading.
Fell into it ass first on accident.
They
I would like to whisper to the rest of the party. Personally, I think this is going great.
I mean, you're alive, aren't you?
We got new clothes. We got food. I mean, like, what more could we want?
Time to bail.
I thought he was being sarcastic, but the more he talks, the less I think that.
Time to get out of here. Like, say it. Make sure nobody's listening that shouldn't be. Ready to get out of here yet?
The food that they serve is really not very great. It's kind of gross. It's not. It is prepared food. It is cooked, but what you get the sense is that it's various textures of various fungus that grows down here, and then it's spiced with like algae and moss, and all of it has like I don't know if anybody likes what's that grassy stuff that people used to drink and eat.
Wheatgrass?
Actual grass, yeah, wheatgrass. It starts with an S, but everything has that kind of taste where it's like I'm eating mushrooms and algae.
Ah, I've heard about this diet.
Not a lot of honey mixed in with this stuff with all these bee people.
Yeah, yeah, no, they didn't take the bee people's honey. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, to be
Bashaw
fair, they keep the honey.
approaches. Now I'm forgetting character names.
Chimera.
Mira, and kind of does like the bow thing. It says, "If it please my lady, perhaps now we should hunt these heathens who would rob our great goddess."
the tall woman hears this and she slams her fist down on the table and she says, "You're right. It is time for action. It is enough talking and feasting. It is time that we bring about the glory of the Synodicean Empire once more. New daughter, I can see that you are strong. Marayhura has brought you to us. That is why you are here. This is destiny. Therefore, you must prepare our armies to take control. But there is something you must do first."
What must be done, my lady?
When our maidens venture into the lower tomb, into the lower step beneath this one, they say that they see ghosts. I do not know if it's true. Warrior maidens that are sent there never return. But it makes us look weak. Especially to the Brotherhood and those pathetic, weak magi. If we are to show our strength to the true Holy Three, you must go and prove that either these ghosts do not exist, or use the strength of Our Lady to vanquish them. Also,
Of course.
somewhere in the depths is the pit from which Zargon, the demon, was sealed. It is time that we face him. You must unseal the lost city and descend to find the city. Tell us what it is like. Report to us. It is still there at all. And lastly, you must find that thief and return our holy symbol of our goddess.
It will most certainly be done.
Excellent. And they rise and they say a bunch of muttering, strange stuff in this weird language. And the feast ends, and they start taking food away, and they start like attending to the altar, and they start sharpening weapons and doing. They take some of their ceremonial stuff off, and you are now a warrior maiden of Madarua, and you have full access to the grounds. This room has a door on the west side of it, and then the curtain, or I'm sorry, the other door that you came in, that is guarded by two of these weird warrior maidens. What do you do?
Sorry, I was choking down food because I'm a monster.
So the whole thing that they want you to do, one is obviously in direct contradiction to the Council of Parentball, which has told you not to unseal the Lost City. That could be the last thing you contend with. The other one is return the statuette and find the thief. One is go to the lower step and figure out what's going on with these ghosts and resolve it. And then actually a last one would be to confront the Brotherhood and the Magi and bring them into the fold.
Well,
And you don't have to do any of it. That's what they want you to do, though. As a blood oath sworn warrior maiden.
so first thing I'm going to do is ask somebody not quite as important as the big lady what level we're on now.
They like jitter and shake, and they're like, level. This one has never risen. Are there more levels? There are more levels. Yes, someday this one will rise. Someday this one will rise and will rise to greater levels. They don't know. They don't know.
So
They don't
no
really.
Yeah,
step we're on.
Kind of catching on to that. And the fact that they're cuckoo.
We're probably not on the 5th, so we'll be good going another one down at least, right?
I mean, I think we're at like the 2nd level, because like I think at -1 is where I lost track of the map. I think we went down like one more after that.
We did go down one, yeah.
Sounds to me like the city, right, that is sealed
Mhm.
is the level we're not supposed to go to.
That's probably the 6th step, which is where
And I think conveniently we should know. I have a sense that we'll know when we get to it,
Okay.
and we can say mission accomplished.
Oh, and I mean, one of the things she said was if it's even there at all. So if nobody can get there because of the ghosts, but we can get there.
One thing of note is it has currently been about 10 hours since you started your day. You're currently 7 hours and no, that's not. It's now 8 hours. You're currently 8 hours into being in the step pyramid. Not to be too meta, but if you looked at like the Evening Lands document, this is now a sanctuary. So you gain the benefits of a sanctuary and the reputation system and all that stuff because you're welcomed here. So long as you're in this room, it's a sanctuary. So I'm not rolling for monsters and stuff like that. And you can rest and sleep here and eat.
Oh, okay,
Definitely
cool.
stuff in my pockets with any bland food I can.
All right, you get about a day's worth of really disgusting non-dry rations, like daily rations. So it'll be rotten by tomorrow. But
Okay.
And then does anyone
for one
actually
day.
need to rest, or? 'Cause I don't think we've been in like combat.
No.
I'm more
Just
worried about
abducted by
rations.
bee people. Yeah.
Oh, I think I've got food aplenty, but yeah. Do we want to? Is this a time to rest and maybe confront the ghosts in the morning, or do we just want to keep chugging along?
I mean, I would definitely like to rest enough to stave off any potential like exhaustion or other negative factors that could hit.
after 10 hours, I wouldn't say that you're exhausted.
Okay.
But
How
you,
close are we to exhausted?
you've probably got another good 5 hours of exploration you could do before you become exhausted. And I will note that. I'll say, hey, you're starting to become really tired, you know. and
Okay, yeah.
so-
I think we should rest now to reset that timer so we don't like get 4 hours into dealing with ghosts
Oh,
and then it's
yeah.
like, oh shit, monsters.
All right.
Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time, any more time than we have to around these weirdos, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
For a reason.
When you say that in common, one of them in a corner slaps themselves, and then like another one slaps the one that slapped themselves.
Now, just because they're different culture doesn't make them weirdos. They
Right.
have given us nice gifts.
I mean that as a good
Descriptive.
thing, right? I love weirdos. That's great.
Yeah, these are our kinds of people. Absolutely. Let's just
totally.
put a little distance between us.
Sorry for the noise. Okay. All right, so you guys are gonna rest here for what, 8 hours and get your sleep. You don't have to do a watch. You find some mats to so I'll say that adds 12 hours. You have no idea at this point. Nighttime, because you're not even sure exactly of the time. Like, I mean, I'm giving you like, oh, it's been this long and stuff, and I know that, but your characters would not know. Day, night, who knows what's going on at this point. But you sleep until you're not tired at all. And so okay, so I have that noted. So you wake up and you see like that at this point actually there are more of them that are sleeping, but they have guards. So they've dimmed things. The whatever oils that they use in their simple oil, what are those things called?
Lanterns, wall sconces.
Lamps.
Yeah, the simple oil lamps and wicks that they use, whatever they use for oil, for lighting, they have dimmed a lot of those out. A lot of them are sleeping now, and then some of them are on guard. But while you're wearing your wristbands and your robes, they don't bother you, except that one room that you came through has 2 guards on it. So what do? You've got a door to the west. You've got all this food. You've got the altar. Everyone's sleeping in this room, and then the door to the north has 2 guards on it.
All right. Well, so everyone except the guards and us are asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like 4 guards. 2 of them are posted on the north door. 2 of them are standing in a corner.
Are the guards like deformed, like the crazy ones who were slapping themselves and face planting the table?
Yep. One of them
Okay,
now
well,
is
I
just
guess
like
I'll try
staring off
anyway.
into space, like looking at a wall by herself, you know. And
I'm gonna walk up to him and be like, "My slaves and I are ready. Point us to the direction of the ghosts."
yeah, and he's like, this one's like jittery, and he's like, and then like goes to the west door into a hallway, and there are 2 more guards at the end of the hallway. This hallway is about 15 feet long. They They nod at each other and gibber some stuff, and then they press a symbol on the wall, and I can, and then you hear this like shuddering, and there's like, there's sand that shakes loose from the walls and stuff, and you see a symbol. Actually, you see all these symbols. The one she touches is, let's see here. She touches the second symbol from the bottom that looks like an S. And then she opens the door and she motions you into the hallway. This hallway is about 20 to 30 feet long.
Alright, well, I'm gonna lead my quote-unquote slaves down the hallway.
Alright, you go into the hallway and the door slides shut behind you. You hear some sort of gibbering benediction of the Madarua as the door closes behind you. Does anybody have a light on?
I can turn a light on. I have my lantern. Also, I would like to, once the door is closed, immediately take off the green robe.
Okay, you take
Go
the
back
green.
to my normal getup.
Does everybody else do that?
I'm gonna keep the robe. It's quite nice.
I
Same.
don't know if I got one. I don't. Did I?
Yeah, you guys got robes, but then you got bracelets, and then
What are the bracelets made out of, by the way?
they're made out of bronze, and then they have a symbol of like a crescent on it. And Chimera got carved that crescent into her flesh deeply, and she has a bronze face mask and robes.
So everybody got the base stuff, but Chimera got the fancy stuff. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it only
Wasn't
cost
sure
me
if I
blood.
was-
You all are
mere
mere
bracelets.
slaves. You're property
Yeah.
of the warrior maidens, but she's an actual warrior maiden.
Yep. Stuff that in my pack.
Bunga bunga.
All right, so you put your stuff in the pack, and Shay does, but Bashaw and Chimera, you keep your stuff out.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Like gonna work against me
I'll
later
hang
on,
on to
but
the bracelet, halves and halves it. I'll keep that on.
Okay. All right. And then you see this. There's a stone or sandstone corridor. There's nothing on. There's no statues or anything here. No art. No symbols. Except it's 20, 30 feet long corridor. A door at the end, and the door that you came through. But then there's that thing of symbols on the wall in the center of it.
Right.
Very interesting.
Shaw's in charge again. I don't want to be in charge.
Oh, let's see. So I've got 4 and 3 here. Why do I have 4 and 3 here? I think that was the order
Of the
that
Wonka
we
Vader.
touched the symbols. But I think that was just, I think there was 3 of them, but I didn't get like the last one or.
I recall being told that they pressed 3 symbols and then being told to ignore the first 2, and the only one that really mattered was the one that looks like waves.
Third from the bottom. Yeah, waves.
You guys press
There
that
you
symbol, the third one
Yeah.
from the bottom.
Yeah, let's see what happens there. I don't know
I got
what
plenty
to
of
do.
character sheets, so.
Okay, who presses it?
I press it. I'm hogging the
Okay.
button.
All right, Shay, you press the one you said third from the bottom, so it looks like these like 3 little waves that come out, and you press your hand on it, and then like there's this shuddering, and like sand gets knocked loose, and then you guys like can feel the whole passage like turning is what it feels like. Like you feel like the centrifugal force, and it turns and turns, and it feels like it does it for a long time. And then it comes back around, and then like it goes to a door, and the door opens, and two of the warrior maidens are standing there looking at you like,
I'd like to point at the symbols and say, which one to the ghosts?
And then one of them like comes in, and she looks at the symbols, and she presses the top symbol, the symbol at the top. She presses it, and then she's like, and she realizes that she made a mistake because she's stupid, and like she can't make it back to the door in time. But you feel this rotating. It rotates just a little bit this time, not as long. And then like the door opens on the other end, but she's on the other door like clawing it like an animal, like and freaking out. And like she goes back to the symbols, and then she presses that one, the third one from the bottom again, and it slides back. And then the door opens after it gets back. It takes a long time this time to do it. And then she like runs through the door and is weeping, and her friend holds her and consoles her.
So they're probably not helpful in terms of getting the right button now.
She pressed the button when you asked for that. The button she pressed was the top symbol. And
Right.
then
She went back to where she started.
I thought you
and
meant
now
mistake.
she can
then
go back in.
then it rotated open. She started freaking out and for a minute, and then she's like, and pressed the symbol that you all did to get back to where you found her.
I'll press the top one again then. We'll sort this elevator out.
All right.
Well,
Then it does that centrifugal force thing again. It doesn't take nearly as long. A door opens at the end, and you can see a probably 30 to 40 feet long corridor that just turns a 90-degree angle to the right at the end of it.
I direct my lantern-holding slave to go forward.
You guys go?
Me?
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
Well, I mean, we're gonna send somebody who doesn't have light ahead. That'd be stupid.
So of the four of you, who is like the two? If you can kind of go two abreast at a time, who's up front?
I'd kind of like to keep at the edge of the light and be stealthy in case something attacks you guys. I can go from the shadows. Is kind of my thinking.
All right.
Because
Same.
I'm a coward, and I also want to kind of be right at the edge of the group, kind of trying to be sneaky in case something.
You guys already
attacks.
know I'm a coward. I already tried to abandon Bungo.
We're all cowards.
So
here,
who's
yeah.
up front then? Is it Shay or Bushay or both, or is it Chimera?
Probably both. Because
Okay.
the two of us are like cowardly.
Yeah, Bashar will put away his bow, frowning, and ready his spear and shield.
I
He's,
feel I should ask. This sounds like a silly question, but I'm imagining that my lantern is like a bullseye lantern, so I can direct the light where I want it to. Is that a correct understanding or an insufficiently correct understanding?
My understanding is it can do two things. You can you can have it to where it shines a big bright light like 30 feet, or you can change the aperture to narrow it, and you can use that so that you're not as easily seen. It only shines about 5 feet, and you're not going to see as well. But it just turns it to where it just shines out of an aperture. So you don't lose the light, like you don't shut off the lantern, but you can make it to where you're more stealthy, and you're not going to see as far.
I want to remind you, I got a 1 in 6 chance of being surprised, and in combat, I have a 3 in 6 chance of going unnoticed.
I have a
please,
100%
kindness.
chance of being surprised and a 0% chance of being noticed. So
You have a 3 in 6 chance of not
for
being...
a surprise attack. So, like in combat, I imagine I have to have cover and things like that, but like he can just kind of pop out of the bushes. And...
Oh yeah. Okay, so basically that's increases the chance of them being surprised. But you have a very low chance of being surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I get to a surprise round, please don't let me forget that. So if I say, "Oh, let's check for surprise," or if I say, "Oh, you're surprised," or something.
Okay.
Like that. Okay,
Alrighty,
so
Roo.
You travel down to the end of this corridor, and then it doglegs 90 degrees to the right for about another 30 or 20 or 30 feet. You're not sure. And down this corridor, it then, at the end of that, it seems to turn another 90 degrees to the right. And there are symbols and drawings on the wall, on the north wall of this corridor.
What do the drawings look like?
It is another drawing of, it looks like people being punished, and they're being turned into insects. And you can see that there's these little, like, black dots that are coming from the god's hand as they change, and the people are like these symbols of these people supplicating. And then the next one is there's these black dots, like in a spray pattern towards what are now insects, is what they look like in the drawings.
Kind of insects.
They look like
Bees, perhaps?
Or not bees? Either outcome would be good to know.
The scarabs. It is
Either-
cursed. That is cursed. Everything is cursed.
Either way, it's a little bizarre.
it
All right,
is
that's enough
a
adventure for one day.
it is
That's
a
stone.
anthropod, I think is what it would be called, like beetles, weevils, scarabs, beetles, weevils, stuff like that. But specifically, you're not sure.
All right. Okay.
When I type in that to Google, the first thing that pops up is a, what are they called? A coconut crab, and then it's terrifying.
Right.
Oh no.
Okay, I think we should just, it's a good idea to set some ground rules. Being a slave is one thing. I would like to suggest that we should endeavor to avoid becoming insects. Just, that's where
I
I'm at.
concur.
I'm on board.
Agreed.
I think
All
you're
right.
onto something.
So what do you guys do?
Slowly, cautiously go forward.
Actually, I'm sorry. You specifically asked, like, what are the beetles? That is an esoterra, and I'll mark it down so you can either ask a question or make an inference. But it has to be about it has to be about the arthropods.
Yeah, here's a question. The people getting turned into anthropods, do they want to be turned into anthropods? Is this a desirable outcome for them, or is this an undesirable outcome?
That is a really great question and a very interesting one. Excellent. I'm going to make that a large esoterra. Because that's probably, like, you're looking, you would imagine no, right? But you're probably looking with your lantern, and what you kind of sense from the drawing is that it's not that they want to or don't. It's a look of, like, ecstatic exultation, like ecstasy. Like, it looks like they were asking for this and then maybe didn't want it after the fact.
Ah,
So they were trying to do something. They wanted something. Yeah. Okay. So what do we do? Do you keep going down the corridor? Do you go back, or do you take a look at these symbols? Like, you can make a search check, I should note. So, like, if you wanted to check the area, you know, what it does is it takes time. So you can mechanically overcome it. It's unlikely, but it takes a whole round of 10 minutes.
So these symbols, are they the same as the same kind of pattern of, like, what, 8 symbols up and down, or is this different?
No, these are like pictographs and drawings, and they're similar to the ones where people were being turned into birds. Yeah, they were being turned into birds in the last drawing that you saw.
I'd like to check it for secret buttons.
All right. You would need to make a search check for that.
Alright, let's see here.
Unless you can describe. Well, first of all, describe what you're doing first, because you may not have to actually.
I'm very, very carefully sliding my hands over parts of the walls, trying to see if anything tries to go inward as if it's being pushed, or jiggles a little, or if there's like dust falling out of cracks we don't see.
Okay. Yeah, I would say you don't need to make the check, but it does take you 10 minutes to do that. And it takes a round. So you're checking the walls and stuff, and you notice that where those symbols are, it's a large segment of wall, about 10 feet, but it is different from the other part of the wall on the other side. It's depressed.
How do I cheer it up?
Wait.
You take 1d4 damage.
Yeah, I took 1d4 psychic damage.
And I'm dead. No.
First off,
That's
yeah.
true in this game.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
1d4 dad joke damage. Everyone in the party dies.
All right. Yeah. What do you do about that, Chimera?
Is there anything that looks like in the other directions not facing the button that look like they might be traps? I don't want to get shot suddenly.
It would take another 10 minutes to check the other side for traps. But you don't. I will say this: when you look, you don't see anything. You don't notice anything.
Well, I want to be both safe and lazy, so I'm gonna say, hey, I literally just wrote you guys' names down to avoid it. Ben, you still got that 50-foot pole that you don't want to touch a lot of things with?
Oh, 10 feet. Yep. What needs poking?
All right. I'm gonna just where he's holding it from the safe end. I'm just gonna carefully guide his hands so he can poke it and be like, just push right there.
You poke it, and the wall shifts a little bit, but nothing happens.
Shifts like I could keep poking and pushing to
wait.
open something, or
So it wasn't a button, but it was like an entire section of wall.
Section of wall, yeah.
hmm.
But when you push
Okay,
on
I
it with
thought
a
it was a
10-foot pole, nothing happens, except that it shifts slightly.
All right.
What
Well, the stick has not been harmed, so go ahead and finish opening that for me.
As it put some shoulder into it, does it move the whole wall, or is that?
Probably would take everyone to do it, and I'm going to say there's a chance it will break the pole. Because it's a whole segment of, it's a 10-foot segment of wall, and you're taking a pole, and you're like,
No, yeah, I was saying that the
What
pole
if we?
hasn't
So
been
yeah, what if we
killed,
just?
so-
I'm kind of thinking maybe we examine the wall for traps. I'm going to search it for traps, and then maybe we just put our whole shoulder into it to
you're
not worry about.
thief
Yeah.
adventurer. Okay. Yeah, you could make a, so it takes 10 minutes to do that. But it you would do both a dexterity check and a trap check. But I'm sorry, I do it.
You do those. That's right.
Okay.
My dexterity is only like 13, I think.
Yeah. You do not find any traps.
Okay.
That'll teach you to play with math rocks.
All right. Well,
This
I'm gonna
takes
say-
you all about an hour from the time that you've left, as you slowly follow the dim light of your lantern down these winding corridors. And do we go left? Did we go right? And we do the symbol, and you check the walls, and you're trying to interpret the symbols. All of this together takes an hour. It's about 20 minutes of checking symbols and stuff. So you now have to take the time to rest. You guys are using one lantern, is that right? It's just Shay's lantern?
Mm-hmm. I've
Yeah,
still
we're
got.
keeping- I've got one lantern in reserve with only one batch of oil when we need it. But
I also
it
have a
runs out.
lantern, but I have 2 batches of oil, but I have not lit mine yet.
Here, it
Shay,
says-
you have another 3 hours for your lantern at this point. Oh wait, no, you
Gotcha.
were using it before, so you have 2 hours. Yeah, I got it right here. 2 hours left for your lantern at this point for the oil that you have.
All right.
Okay, so you don't find any traps. What do you do?
Dive on in!
Lean in and push on this wall.
All right.
Is this the kind of time when it'd be great to have an expendable halfling?
Uh,
Yeah, too bad we only have an expendable mage.
you all push on the wall, and you find that it slides, and then for some reason it manages to slide laterally, is how it works. But you don't see any mechanisms that allow it to do that. But it works, and you see a room full of crates and barrels, and 4 large brown beetles that are about 3 feet long each.
Oh dear.
And they're breaking into the barrels and squealing, and then one of them like turns and sees the light of the lantern and is like and squeals, and immediately they all turn and start skittering towards you. And now we're gonna roll for surprise because that's the first part of it. So I'm gonna see. Actually, I'm gonna see. Yeah, I'm gonna see if they. Okay, so let's see. Not okay, and not okay. So nobody's surprised. So there's no surprise round, and also, we're going to roll for initiative. Bashaw, will you roll a d6, please?
And here we go. Race. Oh, I rolled a 6.
I
That's a
got a
good
6
start.
too. I'm just going to re-roll.
Oh.
I got a 2, so you got it. You guys are able. So the most important thing in combat is the very first one, which is it says declare spells and retreats, but declare actions. Is there any plans, stunts, ideas? You see from these beetles this like oily stuff that's coming out of them.
Bashaw's gonna brace for their coming in. It says, throw food, throw food.
Should we just try and kill them? Is there anywhere for them to go? Is this like?
I mean, if they're shiny and oily looking, can't we just try setting them on fire and be done with it?
The room is about 15 by 15 feet. It's about 20 feet high, and there's a door on the north side. The room's full of barrels and crates. They've broken into some of it. There's oily stuff coming off these brown carapaces, and they leave an oily trail behind them.
Are they in amongst the barrels and crates, or have they escaped that area to come towards us?
It
Nobody
looks
ever
like
escapes
some
crate
of
from.
them had broken into a crate and was
Yeah.
trying to get something in it.
Yeah.
They were
Well, where are they
scavenging and-
physically located now?
Uh,
That's what I'm asking.
there is. They are on the northwest side of the room, about 15 feet away from you.
In relation to the barrels.
They are next to the barrels, adjacent. Yeah, right there with the barrels.
Well, I would like to. I'd like to declare my intention to throw a lit flask of oil at them when they depart from the barrels, because I don't want to burn the barrels.
Okay, so I'll just say that you can do that when they move.
I'm thinking I'll get a hand axe ready to start chopping when they get to us.
We're not in the room, right? We're at the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not
So
in
we
the
can
room.
make a nice little kill pocket.
You're gonna do that around the opening there as they come out. Okay.
Yeah, because then only one of them can come out at a time, and then 3 of us can.
Are you trying
Attack
to
one.
direct the oil at them as a splash weapon, Shay, or are you trying to target one of them?
I think I'm trying to get as many as possible, if that's a thing that is reasonable.
Yeah, it's there's an option called splash damage, but you may not want it. So I'll tell you what it does real quick if you want, because it might not be something that you want.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Splash damage is basically you target a surface, and you still have to handle the attack as armor class 10, or you miss, and it'll go like a random place. And if you succeed, everything within 5 feet of that is splashed. If it's harmful to them, which it is in this case, and they take 1d2 damage. So they take 1 or 2 damage, but it'll be everything that goes through that area.
I accept those terms.
All right. Okay. Let's see. So, all right. So it sounds like everybody else is waiting for it to get closer. Kamira, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm just gonna kind of wait for stuff to happen at this point. We got plans now.
Yeah, what's the plan?
I mean,
what is your plan?
So, well, I mean, I'm just gonna join in the kill circle, I guess, because I was gonna try to close the door, but everyone's doing stuff. I'm like, that's a bad idea.
You're gonna go up, and as these things get within range, you're gonna attack them.
No, I'm gonna join the kill pocket.
Yeah, like for a ranged attack, like from the side or something.
With my dagger.
So you're gonna close up in that kill pocket in the door, so that when the beetles come in, you.
But I'm gonna use Bashaw as a living shield.
You can't do that. Let's see. An interesting thing. So if you guys parked either side of it, yeah, you could do that, and then another grid. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's see. They're going to do their round. And so they skitter up, and I'll say they move, and then Shay, you can roll to hit with your oil.
Ready?
I should have that random thing ready in case that happens.
I rolled an 8.
An 8 total?
Total.
Were they charging us by any chance?
Yes, actually.
Yes. Double damage if I hit them.
Oh, they also gain +2 to attack, and their AC is penalized by 1. But anyways, meanwhile, your oil flask goes in a random clockwise direction. And it actually goes to the right corner of the room is where it ends up. And so you start a fire. This fire starts in the room. And it looks like if you don't kill these beetles soon, the room will fill up with smoke and fire and destroy whatever's in there. That's kind of what happens. And you all can make your attacks.
Or was that I was coughing?
No. Okay.
Okay.
I was saying you can make your attack as the beetles move up to the door.
Does a 6 hit?
A 6 does not hit.
I rolled, I believe in. Well, if I'm throwing my hand axe, it was an 18, but I'm not. It was a 17.
Remember that you have luck if you need to use that. And you also have the big purple D30 for the group once for this session.
Oh, yeah.
I think a 17 will hit, though, right?
A 17 will hit.
So it's
How about a
1d6
19?
for a hand axe.
19
right?
will hit. Yeah, it's a D6 for a hand axe, yeah. And you
So
can't
that
throw
is,
it.
yeah.
Also, you
okay,
weren't seen if you were to the side, so I believe you get a +4 to hit and a +4 to damage, I think, right?
Ooh, well, I rolled a 4 for damage. And if I got the backstab because I couldn't be seen, then yeah, that would be a +4 damage. And yeah, doubles any damage dealt. So that would actually be 8 damage.
8 damage, yeah. So you kill one of these things and crack its carapace. It crunches in with your hand axe as you crack it around the corner and squeals and shivers underneath your hand axe as this oily stuff comes out of it around your hand axe and it stops moving.
So hand axe, I should be able to throw and do melee based on the OSC But it doesn't matter. I was
you
not
can,
doing that, so.
but in OSE you can't throw within 5 feet.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's
They were
the-
at 5
yeah.
feet. Gotcha. I said I was waiting on them, so absolutely. Okay, cool.
Sorry,
cool.
what's the damage for a dagger?
It's a D4 damage.
Okay.
Yeah, but you'll also do double whatever
Backstab.
you roll. I think right, or do you do?
If it's backstab, it does double.
Oh shit!
Any
Yeah,
damage
double any
dealt.
damage dealt.
Yeah,
So that actually means I had a 23 for my to hit.
yeah.
But,
Backstab an unaware opponent from behind. It says from behind. A thief receives +4 bonus to hit and doubles any
Oh.
damage dealt.
Okay, so I actually interpreted that wrong. I'm getting my OD&D mixed up. I'm
think though-
3 or
I
4
think it
different
does
roll
mean-
systems.
Yeah, so I don't
think
know
it
how
does mean
you
that
do
you
it
can-
with your particular rules, but reading straight from the
Yeah,
OSC
no.
book, that's what it says.
What'd you say, Steve?
I think it does mean like so long as they can't see you.
Yeah, I know that OSC
Unaware
does say from
yeah,
behind.
Unaware. Yeah, there it is. Unaware from behind. You are
So-
correct.
Okay, I messed it up, but we'll go with it this time. So, anyways, so you hit. What was your damage, Chimera?
A grand total of 8 stabbies.
8 stabbies. You kill that beetle, and it creates a big gory mess as you lob off its head, and there's this oily stuff that's spraying out everywhere on the ground. This oil is like spreading out. There's these 2 dead beetles, and there's a beetle behind it. It has not got to you yet. And that is its turn, and so now we re-roll initiative for the top of the round. So this beetle is actually going to make a morale check, though.
You ever do popcorn initiative?
I don't know. What's popcorn initiative?
So like if so like because I matched with you, so my initiative would be done. So it would kind of move on to another person, and they keep rolling initiative until they lose, and then it goes on.
Yeah. Tell me about it later. I
right.
want to understand. But anyways, the monster, the beetle, sees its friends get schlacked, and it's like it squeals and then like skitters off into the darkness. Do you choose to pursue it as it goes into an open door in the north end of the room, or do you?
Oh,
let it
the
go?
door at the north end is open. Okay, I was like, where's it going?
Yeah, it actually like rams open the door, which apparently they came through, and then just like rams it open and then just keeps going into the dark.
Vishaw's gonna try to pull some of the well, the amount of stuff that's in there. Am I able to like pull stuff away so that it doesn't all
Actually,
burn,
I
or
should.
is
We
it
should do the
too much?
initiative first, as a matter of fact. So, let's do this time. Let's do Shay. Shay, roll a d6 for initiative
Oh, roll a d6, huh? Well,
because it may not even make it out in time.
that's a 2.
It was able to go first. Sorry, Steve. What were you saying?
Oh, for the stuff in the room, because the fire is spreading, is there too much to kind of get away from, to get all the wood away from the fire that's growing, or is there just like a few?
Yeah, you could probably take the items to make sure the fire doesn't spread out anymore, and then so yeah, you take the items to the far end of the room. The room is filling up with fire and smoke as it's starting to smolder and burn.
Okay, as long as it doesn't have more fuel in there.
Do you guys chase the beetle or do you let it run?
I think
gets
we've
out.
got enough delicious beetle meat with us here.
All right. The beetle like runs off into the darkness, and you have this room. It's on fire. You've moved the items as you go in to try to save what you can. You notice as you move the items, Bashaw, that like some of the items are kind of heavy, and you realize that there's like stuff in here. There's stuff in the barrels and crates. What do you do? Yeah, what do you do now? The part of the room is on fire with some of the stuff, and then you've kind of like pushed a bunch of the stuff over hastily as smoke starts to build up into the cramped space.
We should
Get this-
probably wait for the smoke to clear.
Can we get this fire out before and stomp it out or anything? Or
Anyone have water?
Well, it's an oil fire.
Don't make me explain the joke.
Yeah, how would you put out the fire?
Very carefully.
Well, I
I
mean,
think
I
if we
beat it
can
out with
just
a
get the-
halfling, but we seem to have lost him.
I think if we could just get the goods away from the fire, I'd call that a win and just let it go out on its own.
Just wait. How long do you wait?
Who cares?
I care.
What's in these boxes?
Well,
We got stuff to do.
Are
I mean,
you?
do we need to wait for the fire to go out? If we move stuff away from it, can we just check the stuff that's safe from catching fire and
Yeah,
then
we
leave?
the fire can do its own thing. We don't care.
I think
Yeah,
We have
let's
stuff to
just-
do.
I think you
let's
could
just-
do that. I think you could.
Yeah.
Okay. It will take 10 minutes to search the stuff. If
Better
you all
than the
do that.
4 hours it's gonna take to wait for that fire to go out. Jesus.
I think it's a couple rounds, which does leave us time to do some swag collecting.
And,
All right,
Yeah, we need light. Yeah.
So in what remains in here, let's see. They are full of dried food, such that if you took what you could carry, you would have about another 14 days each of dried rations.
Each.
Ooh.
Each.
Let's
Alright.
om nom nom in the future.
Yeah.
Would that be rations normal or rations iron?
Iron rations. Yeah.
Right
full
on.
of dried. It looks perfectly edible. It looks like it's been dried up and put into little pouches and stuff. You're not sure who put it here, but it's been put here recently.
Hold
And
up.
they're- Oh, go ahead.
You're saying it looks edible and it looks like it's been properly arranged?
Mhm.
I think I know where this came from.
Oh yeah.
Edible arrangements. I'm sorry, continue.
Mm.
I felt the joke and I was
Yeah.
I was afraid of it. I was more afraid of Sean's joke than the Beatles.
You have a sad trumpet noise?
We're gonna need one.
There are also
about-
casks, and they slosh as you move them around. You realize that they are full of wine. It's not good wine, but it's wine.
Hey, it's
All wine is
wine.
good wine.
Each of
Good,
you
yeah.
can basically procure about a pint of wine from it.
Oh, I'm totally taking some like, yeah. Pint of wine.
And what about these beetles? Is anything salvageable from them? Do they contain oil or meat or?
This,
Oily
I think, is a esoterra. So you can choose a question or make an inference.
Do these beetles contain flammable oil that I could use to power a lantern?
Yes, but it will take you quite some time to properly procure it, and you will also need something to put it in, which will then become your oil flask.
Everyone
I
will
have-
find you gross.
I have empty oil flasks, so
Okay. Yes, you do. It will take you 30 minutes, but however many oil flasks you have, that's how much oil you can procure.
all right.
Do you do that?
Yes,
Okay.
that should give me 2.
While he does that, I would like to simultaneously fill my lantern with 1 flask's worth of oil from the beetles.
Okay.
And if we're taking that much time for them to like, squeegee some oil out of these things, I'm just going to kind of listen where the other one ran off to see if I hear anything else.
And Bashaw will be at the door that we came in through, kind of peering around the hall, keeping watch over there.
Okay, you two can make listen checks.
Oh no.
If you're a thief, you can do a hear noise check plus wisdom. Actually, I do that, right? Yeah, I do.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, listen to the door is 2 and 6
All right.
for first level thief.
And then what is the what is Bashaw's wisdom? Actually, it doesn't matter. Okay. Bashaw. So what you hear, it sounds like you're really confident that the way you came from, you don't hear anything, which is good. No news is good news. You said the way that you came into this secret chamber from, right? You're
Yeah.
checking that. Okay, yeah. The fire starts to eventually sputter out, although it's still smoldering and smoking and stuff, and it's hard to be in the room with the smoke. But you don't hear anything, and you're confident that there's nothing in the corridors behind you. As far as the other side, you hear Something that sounds like the movement of pressurized gas, like you heard in the first room. It sounds like there's like some sort of mechanism with like pneumatic or pressurized gas of some kind. But it's further ahead.
Fart tubes straight ahead, guys. Or farther this way.
Yeah. What do you all do?
Think.
I question the term fart tubes.
What's my favorite reference? I don't know.
Toot, toot. Should we keep going the other way, or should we continue down this pathway in the secret direction?
I think we should avoid the gas because it's probably flammable. I would hazard a guess.
Sounds like going down the secret passageway contains trouble. There's a beetle somewhere. There's gas. So I would say that's my contribution to the discussion. We know there be danger.
All right. Guess we'll continue the other way.
Okay. When you go back down the other way, it's about another 20 feet or so to the end of that corridor, and then it turns right 90 degrees, and you see about a 20 to 30 foot long corridor ending in a door. And the door is made of the same kind of like stone slab type design that you've seen other doors are made of here.
Shaw frowns.
Someone is wearing chainmail, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking. Making sure that I didn't get that wrong.
Oh, easy. I gotta switch out armor.
Damn, I thought it was Bungo that had that. Is one of the buttons around this door the S-shaped button that opens doors?
There's no buttons that you can see, just a corridor with a door at the end of it.
Can we hear anything on the other side of this door? Is it like trying to make sure if there's similar sounds coming from it?
You can make a hear noise check, wisdom and your d6.
Do I roll that or do you?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. So, you do not hear anything on the other side of the door.
Okay, well, I don't hear anything.
I'm gonna look at it and see if I can see any more of the suspicious holes that gave me my cool little spiky doos earlier.
Yeah.
Spiky
If
D's?
there's anything that'll kill me. Remember that I got those cool little poison spikes.
No,
Little
nothing
darts.
like that. You push open this door, and just like the other doors, it grinds against the stone underneath it. You're able to push it off to the side, and you can see a stairwell, like descending down deeper into the bowels of the step pyramid.
Ooh,
I look at everybody.
Deeper.
Should I go the other way?
So we want to go down deeper into more dangerous levels, or do we want to go back and examine fart tube territory, whatever you want to call it?
Oh, and also, Sean, are you mapping?
Not since I lost track of it, because any mapping I do is just gonna be in the middle of nowhere.
well, that can sometimes be useful, but well, in one direction we have our objective, the depths of the ziggurat, and on the other direction we have fart tubes and a beetle.
Glory awaits!
Oh dear lord.
Well, I think fart tube beetle might be the safest route for now. I'm writing that down as
The
an
beautiful
out of
thing
context
is,
quote.
the my favorite thing about this whole game is the beetle has its own life going on. It's just trying to do its thing. It doesn't care if you're here or not.
Yeah, not for long it ain't.
Yeah.
Oh, poor.
Unfortunately for it, we don't care if it's here either.
Right. Exactly.
Although if I find it, I'm gonna care a little bit until it's not here anymore. Wink.
All right, fart tubes or and beetle or down into the depths, or you can go back.
I believe fart tube beetle is the consensus at this point.
Okay, you go back about 20 feet down this corridor. It turns left, and you see the room with smoke still kind of coming out of it into the corridor from the dark on your left. And then down at the end of that corridor, you about another 40 feet down, it turns to the left 90 degrees. Where do you go?
I would like to snap off an oily beetle leg and light it in the remains of the fire and use it like a torch.
Okay. Yeah, you do that. When you snap it off, and like it starts spurting oil out of it, and you ignite it, it just starts to create. It's almost like a thing of fireworks, and it's really uncontrollable. You probably have about a round or two before it turns into a shea torch.
Okay, gotcha. I would like to rush in the direction of fart tubes and chuck it.
Okay, you throw it in there, and it slides across the floor and creates a bunch of fire, and you hear squealing down at the end of that hall and the door that's open in this dark hall. It's about 15, 20 feet long hall at the other side of the door. The door is just like ajar a little bit, too. It's not completely open, so...
When you
I
say
think-
squealing, how much squealing? Like one thing squealing, or does it sound like lots of squealing?
Sounded like one thing was like squealing and squeaking.
Yeah, you better be afraid.
Okay, we just
What-
want to harvest your juice.
Need oil?
This
Well,
is
it's-
quality psychological warfare, attacking someone with the flaming limb of their friends and or family.
Oh my god.
Isn't that in the Art of War? Like, there's a whole chapter on that.
Yeah,
All
Sun
right,
Tzu
I
learned it
guess,
from me.
Cautiously make the way down the hallway.
Okay.
Shield up, spear out.
Okay, you start going down the hall in the same order, and you see at the end of the hallway that to the left, and it goes to the left and right where it terminates. And in the light, you can actually see this thing on the left side, like rearing up, like in the shadows, flickering against the torchlight or the lantern light.
Is it the beetle from earlier?
You could. I think the ranger could make a. There's a check for that, or am I getting my system? Okay, I'm starting to have a problem with the nuances in these three systems because they're so similar.
I could do.
Or am I thinking of Birdie's character?
No, there's a percentile I can do.
That's it.
for
That's what I want. Yeah, that one.
tracking. So my base is what, like 10? Let's see here. Ranger. Where are
Eve Wellington.
you? Ooh.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
you start
I actually think that makes sense. A tracking check, and basically, I will say that with everything that's going on, you have some bonuses, and with how simple it is here, to where you can figure out what this is on a 30%, which is still not great, but you're also a adventurer, so you can roll with advantage. Yeah, you can roll that with advantage. So
Hey, nailed it.
nailed it. Okay.
18.
It's definitely that beetle, and it looks like it's backed into the corner of where there's a statue in the room.
Are there any other beetles in here?
No.
All right.
I would
The
chuck
Shah
a
will.
pickaxe at it.
Yeah, Bashar will also pump a few arrows in it to be safe. I'd rather not be running through here with like we're running away. We're all like at 3 hit points left, and then suddenly this beetle's like revenge.
Okay, so you're gonna move forward to attack it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not surprised. You're not surprised. Actually, I will give it a chance to see. It is surprised because of you, the ranger specifically. So I'll give the ranger a surprise round, and everyone else will roll initiative. Chimera, roll a d6, please.
6.
A 6, okay, and you guys go first. So the first person able to act is Bashaw.
I got like a 23 with all the bonuses.
23
and
hits.
How close am I? Am I within?
You're within
See.
10 feet unless you move up to hit it.
Okay, then it takes 2 points of damage.
2 points of damage, okay.
High roll and a low damage.
All right. 2 damage and all right, and then top of the round, you guys can. What is the plan? What are you all going to do? Namira, what are you?
I have the hand axe ready to chunk at it.
You're gonna
so
throw it.
if it's
Okay.
5 to 10 feet is +1. If it's 10
That's
to or 11 to 20, it's a normal, and farther than that, it's at -1.
And that's on top of your regular bonuses. So
Right, but
Yeah.
backstab would not apply. So I think it's
Right.
pretty much just a +1 at this point because I got a +1 to Dex.
Gotta hand it to him.
That's still probably a miss though. That's 4 + 5 +, so that's still a 6.
A 6 misses.
Yeah,
what are you
my
doing,
axe hits a
Shay?
I'd like to throw a dagger at it. How far away am I from this beetle?
If you move up to that part in the corridor, you will be 10 feet away. If you're trying to throw something.
10 feet away. That's in my close range. So roll 20 plus. You are not. I know how keyboards work.
False.
That's I rolled a 16 to hit.
A 16 hits.
For 4 damage.
4
dagger damage.
All right. You crack a dagger into it and a hand axe and stuff, and it is squealing and mad, but it just it's not dead. And Chimera.
Does a 22 hit?
A 22 does hit.
Then I roll 5 damage. 5 stabby stabs.
5 damage. Okay, you can describe how you kill it.
I just, once everybody's got it all weak and I'm certain I can survive going head on into it, I just like lunge at it and and stab it in the eyes repeatedly like a psychopath.
You get oil all over yourself. All right.
Oil over.
You see when you come into this room that there is an 8-foot tall bronze statue of a winged child with 2 snakes twined about its body. It holds a wand in one hand and a handful of coins in the other. The statue looks firmly connected to the wall. And the corridor behind you goes for a ways and then terminates and stops. Seemingly nothing there.
This would be the great god Usamagaris.
Usamagoras, or so, yes.
Yep.
Who I spoke with his voice, I think, briefly.
Yes.
Sounds like a snake, right?
Yeah.
If.
So he's got a pile of coins and a wand.
Oh, great Usamagaris.
That's real tempting.
Bestow your blessing upon your humble servant.
Nothing happens. However, this
Right,
is
well,
an
it's worth a
esoterra, as this is a statue of some eclectic ancient god of a forgotten people. So you could make an inference, and by the way, Sean, you can do this too. Like, it doesn't always have to be Caleb. Like, you guys share these, so you can always hop in if you have an inference or question.
You got a good inference or question here?
I mean, not one that would make sense.
All right. Here's an inference. It was mentioned by the Amazonian ladies that they're the warrior maidens, that there's two other groups, a brotherhood and a mages. And I would like to attempt to infer that this is the patron deity of the mages.
You are absolutely correct. And because you got the inference correct, I'll give you guys more XP for it.
Delightful.
Yes.
Okay, what do you all do?
You said
Kinda wanna
there's. Oh, go ahead.
Is there any sort of mechanism on the hands that look like they move if you mess with one of them?
Yeah, when you closely study the statue, it does look like the wand that is, the wand that is in its left hand. It looks like the hand will rotate, like left and right.
Before we go opening any secret doors, though, is there... Do the coins look like real coins?
That's kind of what I'm interested in.
Hold on just a second. They do look like real coins. It looks like there are about, there's a pile of probably 500 copper pieces here.
I believe we should begin looting this.
I was going to say, and specifically, that hand does not look like it has a mechanism like Indiana Jones. You move the weight and something happens, in which case, I feel like, as the voice of Usimagaris earlier, that it's only right that we take this, right?
Seems
It's what he
right to
would
me.
want, you know?
I think that this is the boon that I requested. This was clearly left here for us.
Suddenly,
Uh-oh.
actually,
Life has new meaning
the
to
Shah
me.
make a, you can make a wisdom check and also a D6 check, basically.
Right, so I got a 5, and for the D6, I got a 4.
Okay. You hear a scuttling, slithering noise in the previous room amidst the ruins of barrels and things.
Is there a door?
Is there a door? That's not the right thing here. No, I mean in the previous room that you came through with the barrels.
Yeah, just wondering, the one that we're in now, is there a door to this room?
Yes, it was slightly
Okay.
ajar, but yes, there is a door.
I close that.
Okay. You close the door, and you can hear these something in the other room slithering around and skittering. Yeah.
We have company.
Slithering sounds like this is the snake kid, right?
We
The
may
nice-
have upset the snake child.
Who's got his money? Because we're keeping it, right? Okay.
I mean, I have no intention of giving it up, so...
Well, that's right. We earned this.
I think that you should be mildly ashamed of your sacrilege. Can I take the wand? Is the wand removable?
It looks like it's connected to the hand. You can try to remove it.
Just a little tug, just to see if it's removable.
I wish you had a camera. You know what? I'll just determine it this way.
So yeah, I was curious. So did that wand point down the long corridor? And there was like a long corridor on the way.
It is not. It's pointing up,
Okay.
and you tug on it this way, and it doesn't budge. But you can attempt a forced door check with a D6, Shay, if you want to still try to get the wand.
Definitely not. I resign my fate.
All right. What do you all do?
I
Did you say
mean,
there was another entrance or exit here?
It like there's a corridor from where you came in, and then it splits the left and right. And to the left was where the beetle was and the statue, and to the right there's a corridor, but then it just ends, and it doesn't seem to be anything there.
Yeah, so there's nothing. So the statue's not pointing at anything at the end of the corridor or anything. So my first thought when I see a statue or with a wand is that in a corridor that it does shoots down that corridor if we do something wrong. But it looks like it moves in the hand left or right, so it doesn't necessarily point at anything in specific.
It looks like, I will say this, it does look like the hand the wand is in, the mechanism looks like it can rotate about the wrist toward the end of that corridor.
Okay. What happens if we get out of the way and we point that towards the end of this corridor? Does anything happen?
Yep, something does in fact happen. All of a sudden you hear this like shifting noise at the end, and the door opens, and there's a long corridor in the inside of that, on the other side of the door that opens, that is about 30 or 40 feet long.
All right, so there's something on the other side of that door that we just came through. We got a new entrance this way. Do we want to? Is there any way to bar the door before in case we investigate further?
In this case, oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say, I've never met anything that both could slither and had hands, so I'm not too worried about the door being circumvented.
But didn't the beetle kind of knock it open a little bit when it was running away?
Well, we closed it, so.
Fair enough.
Well,
Is it open towards us or towards that room?
It opens towards you all.
Oh, perfect. I'm just going to hammer a little spike down there.
Okay, you hammer a spike into the door.
Perfect. We have completely ruined this creature's plans. We
can't slither under a door. You can't open a door, right? So.
Yes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the idea is that that's a backwards doorstop now.
All right. So what do you guys do? Do you guys go into this? Well, I'll just say it. So you go into this this other corridor, and as you go into this corridor, you recognize this. The center of this hallway has those symbols on the center of it. This is that hallway.
So it did looper. Okay. Really confused. I was kind of taking this really crude map.
Good to know. Okay. So we know how this one goes. Do we want to go down to the next level then?
I mean, unless you guys got somewhere better to be.
Let's do it.
I could live anywhere, literally anywhere, but off we go.
Which symbol do you press then?
Well, wait, are we at a door? Sorry, my brain's frying.
You went into the corridor. There's this corridor. At the end of the corridor is a closed door, and in the center of the corridor is that column of symbols.
I press the S1 to open the door.
You press the S symbol, the second one from the bottom.
Yes.
Okay. You hear like a grinding and a centrifugal force, and it takes some time as this thing moves, and then it gets to a door, and the door opens, and there are two warrior maidens there standing guard on either side, and they turn around and they look and they see you there, and one of them is like, "Where are your robes, chosen one?"
Quick, push the button, quick.
Be
right back.
These are different slaves. I picked up some more. Don't worry about it. We'll get them sorted out later, if they survive. Because I'm still wearing my robe. So.
Do you have a charisma modifier?
No.
Yeah,
I pressed the top button.
Do you just press the top button then?
Yep.
Okay. It's the door closes.
This robe?
The door closes as they're standing there, and then there's a centrifugal force, and then The door at the end opens and no one's there, and you see a long corridor that's about 30 to 40 feet long.
So they don't open doors; they go to specific locations. Okay.
Yeah, it's an elevator, and I'm not understanding it.
I guess. Anything?
I mean, neither is anyone else.
There's 3.
What if we just do the elevator thing where I just run my hand like up and down the thing?
Are you
I thought
gonna,
that's probably a terrible idea.
you want to press all the buttons, or are you going to do the elevator thing?
Yeah. If this kills us all, I apologize.
Okay. So you just slam your hand, just run it down the whole thing.
I wouldn't
And the
use the
first
verb
thing-
slam, but yeah.
The first thing that happens is that it moves for a while, or no, it doesn't move for very long, and then it stops, and then the door opens, and you see the same hallway going back that you saw going to the statue. And then the door closes because you just pressed them. So this happens, then the door closes on its own at the end of the hallway. And then you feel this centrifugal force, and the door opens, and there's another hallway. And then it does it again, and there's a tiny hallway, a short one. It does it again, there's a super long hallway. It does it again, and then there are these 2 warrior maidens that turn around, and they're different ones. And then it does it again, and then those 2 warrior maidens have like more warrior maidens with them now, and they're the ones you saw before. And then they point, and they're like, "It's them." And then the door closes again, and it rotates, and you see like a dog leg, and you're not sure where it goes. And then that's what you see. You see like a 5 foot, like a half room. It's like like a, what do you call it? Like a corner, and then it turns, if that makes sense. That's what you see at the end of the hallway.
That's the top one again.
Okay.
Should go with the S one at the bottom. Is the one with the
So
that had
S,
the route.
S leads to the sanctuary.
You press the top one, and then it rotates, and there's a 30 to 40 foot long corridor.
And I think the feathery one above that brings us to the original entrance. And then the top one brings us to the ghosts. And I think the second one down brings us to the statue that we were just at there before.
All right. Right. So, I have. I feel like we've learned a lot, and yet I understand nothing.
I don't want to test my theory because 2 of those doors have very sharp things.
I'm pretty sure that you've already gained the esoteric on this. Yep, you have. So
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah. Oh, do we want to go talk to ghosts?
I'm curious what the ghosts have to say.
Yes, but
Yeah,
actually
I thought that's
no.
what we were trying to do this whole time.
All right. If you travel 40 feet or so down this corridor, it turns 90 degrees to the right. And you can see down this corridor the smoldering corpses of beetles and a wall that's pushed in halfway down the corridor. And then at the end of the corridor, it turns right again. What do you do?
This is obviously the same place we've been previously.
Same smoldering beetle corpses. Unless someone else is burning beetles in there.
Do you go up
Big
and look at 'em?
ziggurat.
Yeah.
Okay, you go up and you see 2 dead beetles that look like they've been chopped in to death, and in a room that has a smoky smell and is full of junk. And then you see it, the thing that you parked the door against on the other side.
I would like to close this door.
You can't.
What?
So, starting with surprise.
No, I think like we're pretty surprised.
No one is surprised, although everyone is also surprised, but no one's
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
you see You see these? Actually, I'll show you what it looks like because I have a picture of it that I like. Oh dear.
Well, I assume I picked my hand axe up after that's an assumption. I don't know how.
Yeah,
clear we have to
you
be
can
in
get
our
your hand
intentions.
axe back, and your somebody got a dagger. You can get your
Yeah,
dagger
it's
back.
like I assumed after a fight that I did that automatically, but if I have to state that, that's cool. I just want to make sure I understand.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, unless it's like throwing it across a chasm or something. Yeah, that's true.
Alright.
Unless it makes sense.
Hear me? Hello? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hear you now.
Mike wasn't lighting up. I was very confused.
Ah, interesting.
There it is. This is my favorite picture of it. It looks like this thing.
Oh.
I would like to announce to the world that I regret several of my previous actions.
There are 2 of them.
Oh God,
Oh,
that's
even
worse than
worse.
one.
Baby.
All right, let's go push some buttons again.
Yeah, I think running away
You flee?
is the right.
Let's flee.
I think
Okay.
that's the.
They have many legs but short ones.
Hopefully,
We
you
got
the
some
shorter
warrior
memories.
maidens that might be some help here, right? They were amassing a bunch of them, right? They were.
I would like to propose that trapping ourselves between a rock and a hard place might not be the best strategy.
We
Hey,
like.
warrior maidens, and then just run past them.
Shay, your lantern oil has exhausted. This current lantern oil.
I'll load another lantern oil in
And
there.
if you flee, you will also find that you all are exhausted. So I have to use the evasion rules.
Oh, that's just super.
Let's put some robes on while we run back to some warrior maidens. What are you talking about?
Combat 120. Oops, that's not what I want.
The warrior maidens might kill us, so I might propose a different floor may be a little better.
So yeah, I guess we hadn't quite, just because we took our robes off, we pissed them off. Is that the?
They might be pissed off. You know, the thing about warrior maidens is that finding out whether or not they're pissed off is usually further down the line of mistakes than you want to go. Sometimes it's safer just to assume they are.
You all
Yeah,
take
but-
-2 penalty to any attacks, damage, or armor class that occurs with what's about to happen, because this is occurring during a rest period. So you're unable to take the required rest at the end of the round during an evasion.
Oof.
But you're running, so I gotta check their movement rate. And it says, so is anyone? Oh yeah, someone's wearing chainmail, right?
Shay, we will remember you
Yeah.
fondly.
Well, we'll remember him all right, but
But Shay, because you're wearing chainmail, you guys do not automatically succeed. And so, pursuit.
I mean, I'm more than willing to leave him behind if that helps me.
Let's see
Leave a
here.
man behind.
The trick to betrayal is not to declare that in advance.
Full movement rate. Mapping. Okay, so I will not be telling you where you end up. But basically, these things are, actually, I'm also going to see if they even want to, okay, great news. They were happy with their food that they found in there, or whatever slops of old beetles that they were chewing on, and you flee down the corridor. You run down a corridor that's about 20 feet long, and it turns left 90 degrees, and that's where you find yourself. You're currently exhausted.
We couldn't go back to the elevators?
Well, and I'm sorry, at the end of that corridor is a door. And that door is currently closed, but there are symbols to the right of the door.
Are it the same symbols as usual?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I would like to press the bottommost symbol.
Okay. You hear this grinding noise, and then eventually the door opens, and there's a corridor. And you are all currently exhausted, so you have -2 to everything right now. And this corridor has it's about 30 feet long, and there's symbols in the center of it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that ain't good.
I feel like we've been thoroughly defeated, but exclusively by ourselves.
I think it'd be a good
Sounds about
idea
right.
if everybody
And then
put on their robes. Oh no.
there's something else in this corridor.
Ah, my old friend. Darkness.
I'll re-roll that because okay.
It's Bungo, right? He's cooked us a tasty meal, right?
Bungo, why are your eyes glowing like that?
There are 4 people in this corridor gathered around the symbols. They are carrying a stretcher with a gourd on the stretcher.
A gourd or a hobbit?
It
Hobbit
is that
named
time of
Gord.
year.
A gourd. And one is wearing the mask of a hawk and has feathers on them, or something that is shaped like feathers. One has shaped something into the mask of a fish mouth with fish eyes on either side. One is a cat and one is a fox. And they're carrying a litter with a gourd on it.
All right.
And they're like, and they're about to press a symbol, but they see you and they say, "You there, the one with the cat face. You must help our friend. You must help our friend." And he motions toward the gourd that's sitting on top of the litter.
Oh, I'd love to help. What do you need?
Medicine, supplies, food, all of your food, all the supplies, all the medicine.
I'm afraid that we're fresh out of medicine. Is there a particular kind of medicine that you're looking for? Maybe a bandage or a cough drop?
What's your charisma modifier?
What charisma?
So, what is your charisma score?
10.
10. Okay. And you have a -2. But it's still good. And they say, "Anything you have, anything to help our poor friend."
I have a few rations. And I guess I'm trying to. I have just a little bit. I'll pull out a couple of
Couple of the dried rations.
14
And I
dried
have-
rations.
And I have just what the doctor ordered, a pint of wine.
I'm only picking out like 3, maybe. I'm not going to give up more than 3 things worth of rations unless they search my stuff.
The one with the fish face takes the pot of wine and starts dumping it, and he's like hooting and kind of like crying. He's like, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo," and he's dumping the wine on the gourd. And then the person with the cat face takes the dried mushroom rations and is stuffing it in the gourd, and it's like, "You'll be okay. You'll be okay, Charles. You'll be okay." And it's like stuffing the dried rations into the gourd. They're blocking the symbols.
Charles, okay?
No, he's not okay. He needs help.
What happened to him? Wait.
He doesn't talk to us anymore.
So he
Aw,
did talk to you?
Too bad. How
Of
long has he
course.
been injured? Or what happened?
What did he used to say?
You would need to ask Syrah about that. And the motions to the hawk-faced person, and the hawk-faced person is just like, "Ah, ah," and then goes on like that for a while, and then like the cat person is just nodding, and then the cat
Yeah,
person's
I'd like to nod understandingly as well.
yeah, and then the cat person's like, "Yes, you see."
That is a pretty big problem.
Yeah,
I have
rough.
heard of something interesting. Do you happen to know where how to get to the 5th level of this place?
Devil. They look at each other and mutter, and then the bird-faced one squawks, and they're like, "There's other what heresy is that? Other levels?
No.
Do you mean where the great Zargon could be?"
Are you searching
The
for
one above
Zargon?
that one. The one above Zargon.
Sometimes his priests come to us, and they bless us.
Okay.
Are
Good.
those-
Good to know.
Did we run into some of his priests where we came from, maybe?
I don't think. What do his priests look like?
Are we Okay.
They wear robes, and they don't
Okay, we
show
didn't-
their faces.
What color robes do they wear?
Black.
Okay. Fashionable. Do you know where they
Usually-
go?
They're covered in usually stony brine.
Ugh.
I can't. I'm just so worried about Charles. He starts weeping.
Yeah.
How long has Charles been injured, or?
At least 122 rotations.
Yeah.
You should. Go ahead. Yeah, you guys.
Do you know where the seal is to the old city? How to get there? How to get near there?
Old city.
Yeah.
What is? I'm sorry. I have to try to help my friend Charles.
Oh no,
He
I
just
understand perfectly.
Sticks his hand in the gourd.
Yeah, just.
He's ramming stuff into the gourd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were clearly going somewhere. Please don't let this stop you. Please carry on for the sake of your friend Charles.
Okay. And then they just keep weeping and like trying to ram things into the gourd in front of the symbols.
All right.
I have an idea. It's either going to make everything better or terribly worse.
Yeah.
I would like to offer to help Charles, but I need them to step away from him.
Oh no.
As
This doesn't-
stealthily as possible, I would like to carve a face into the gourd.
This will be a charisma check at -2, or a +2.
Alright, is that a d20?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll
you have
low.
You have to get
Roll real
underneath
low.
your charisma, but also you add 2 to it.
Low
So
money,
I have to
no
get-
whammies.
So I have to get under a 9. No, I have to get under an
What's
under
your-
a 9.
What's your charisma?
Okay. It's 9.
So you have to get
Roll it.
under a 7.
You're a 7.
Under a 7, okay. I rolled a 6, okay. Barely.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
You like work on Charles, and then you get back, and suddenly it's like that soccer ball from
It's Wilson.
it's Wilson. Yeah, it's got like a really creepy smiley face, and they're like, Charles, and they just like start hooting and dancing around Charles and stuff. They pick it up, and they start dancing. The cat person starts dancing and kissing on Charles, and they try to hug you, whether you.
Now, just so you little things know, this has actually made him stronger than ever. So, moving forward,
Wow.
Charles in charge.
Charles is in
I'm
charge.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Charge. There are consequences to these things.
I think Charles needs to go the way we came and see if there's anything interesting for them to encounter that way.
Don't forget, Gordon.
Yeah,
You like
well, I mean,
How
So-
could we possibly thank you for helping Charles?
well, we're actually not done helping yet.
We are.
Just a ways back there's a secret door that we opened, and we did see some crates and barrels full of food that might be able to help you guys as well.
That's mean. That's
Chaos
really
alignment.
mean. Yeah.
That is mean, but it's gonna hopefully protect the party a little longer.
That's what I'm thinking.
Remember, the monsters can't eat us if they're full.
Right? Like, yeah, it's mean, and I feel bad about that, but also I'm not gonna die, and I feel great about that.
You're
Yeah.
more confident that you won't die than I have been since entering here.
Basha says, just be very, very careful. I saw signs of great danger that way. Please. If you do go, be very careful.
They press the symbol, and they have that centrifugal force, and eventually you hear screams in the darkness.
What is it?
Oh, that's horrible.
Yep. Yep. That's you hear that, guys? That's the sound of evil.
But did they have any loot? Wait, no.
We guys, we gotta go help them. We can't.
What? That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard since we should murder them.
It's just horrible.
I'm torn. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. That's too bad. Okay, yes.
When one of them desires to go help and another desires to go get their loot, I desire to hide in shadows.
I am gonna defer to Steve on this one. I have complicated feelings about this because it's so creative, and you don't know who these people are or what they're doing right now.
Well, they're
I don't
clearly.
trust anybody in this place. I mean, at this point,
but that is evil. So I'm gonna say that basically either you can't do that or you have to go help them.
I'm all for.
I don't like either of those options.
Because this is not. It's true. This is not an evil. We're not trying to be evil. It's so creative, though. To be clear, like I acknowledge that, but yes.
To be fair, I mean,
I'm
is
just
it really
probably-
evil though? Because
It's super evil.
It's
oh,
pretty.
sure, okay.
I'm the master of
get it.
evil. I
I get
understand
it.
this.
I get it.
By itself, me sending them, sure, that was evil. But you did warn them that there were signs of something over there, and they still just trottled off into it head first.
I'll tell you what, Steve. You can also just warn them, like, please don't go that way. Actually, it's really dangerous, and they don't.
Yeah, that's.
So
yeah,
they don't do that.
Oh,
I don't want to. That is super evil. It's so creative, but it's really evil. I just don't think it's that clear that these are the bad guys yet. Like maybe if it was like super obvious that they're bad, right?
Like, but they're our allies now, and I don't think they're
Also,
really
yes.
quite a bad guy
Right.
here so far.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. So you do not hear screams in the darkness, but they in fact press a button and go another direction.
What do they press?
They press the top symbol and go down the long hallway that appears. That's about 30 to 40 feet long.
Top symbol. Isn't the top symbol ghosts?
Oh, and they
Top
also
symbol is
asked.
the direction.
They also asked, like, is there some way that we can repay you? I forgot that got lost in the.
Oh, okay.
That got lost in the murdering.
I don't seem to know how to get anywhere, so I don't know anything they can do to help.
If these things work the way I think they do, they just press the button to go that direction anyway. Like,
Yes, I believe the top button is the one where the secret door was, which means
yeah.
that's where they were supposed to not be going.
We hear screams in the darkness.
No.
No. Okay, I take that back. They press the third button from the top, and it's about a
Okay.
20-foot long hallway. That's a good point.
Okay.
Alright.
Um,
That
well,
would have
wait,
been
so
funny.
then,
But
since
before
I'm,
they do all that, they ask if they can repay you in some way. That got lost
I mean,
kind of in all that.
Do we kind of? Is there a good place to rest? Maybe.
well,
Oh,
so
yeah.
hold on, I got a better idea. Since I'm in my green robe with my mask, right? I want to ask them, can you lead us to where the priests come from?
Yes, we have friends. We have friends. They wear robes, and they wear silver masks and robes and 5-pointed stars, and they are very good to us. They're very good to us, and they have food, and we could take you to them. That is one way to get. Wait, no. If you wish to see Zargon, I think you must face this danger you speak of. Perhaps it is destiny, so that the light of Zargon can shine upon you, and salvation can come.
Well, now I want to put my mask and robe away.
I mean, I'm all for
Yeah.
salvation, but
think
So the way we came is towards Zargon? Is that what they're telling us? Like the way we fled in terror from? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And so then they say, when the cat person, they press the symbol I said, third from the top, and they give you a vial of an inky black fluid, and they say, at least take this for our thanks. And then they leave.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. What is it?
They don't say anything. They just give it
Great.
to you.
This is an
However,
entire
you are
cigarette
a
filled with unhelpful
wise,
people.
so you can do Esoterra for that.
What is it?
It would appear to be something that it provides some sort of magical property that's beneficial. However, based on what you've seen, it is made in such a way that there might be unintended side effects.
Okay.
Could one insinuate, based on the fact that these two were friendly with a gourd that I had to create a face for, that this may be the concoction of magical potion that the warrior maidens' younger generations have been increasingly consuming?
Yes. And I'll give you I'll give you more XP for the correct inference.
Interesting.
Boom.
Very good. Very good.
idea.
Because I just figured it was some kind of like narcotic.
Now, we only have a couple minutes
I made
left
a
tonight,
note.
and there's a problem. You all are exhausted, and you have -2 to everything, and you're in the main thing that, like, everybody comes in and presses buttons on. So, like, what do you do?
I think we should put on our robes again and head back to the sanctuary. Play dumb. Like, what do you mean? We never had our robes not on. You're crazy.
We got
I
very confused with
agree.
lots of buttons. We were spinning and it was dizzy. I don't know what you said. I mean, it was fat. Everything was
Could've
moving
been
real
anyone.
quick.
What is,
We got our clothes on, we had to dry them. It was a whole thing.
Bashaw, what is your charisma modifier?
The 9.
Oh.
Am
what
I the
about-
only one with the positive modifier? to
Yeah, what's
charisma?
yours? What's Ben's?
Yeah.
I got a 13 to charisma.
Everyone
So you got
loves
a plus
that.
Hey,
Okay, so that would
Yeah.
give you a -1, which provides a neutral result where some of them begin to murmur. But you are able to come back in, and now people are about their day, but you're able to find a place just to rest. And when I say rest, it's not like sleeping. This is what you call a short rest, where you just need to spend 10 minutes resting, and that's all.
Kind of gathering our breath.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was rough.
And you make it back to the sanctuary of the warrior maidens of Madarua, and you're able to wipe the sweat off your brow after you've ran from these creatures and encountered these people and Charles the Gourd and everything. And and you make it back to a sanctuary, and that's where we'll end for the night.